So I'm just getting ready for our silent retreat, which is this weekend, and I'm getting all of our props situated. Yes, I washed 22 blankets. And I'm creating this little package here and for each student. And I thought, this is maybe a good chance to do a little video on props and what you might want for your home practice. So this is what, kind of the bare minimum. This is what we're going to give each of the retreatants this weekend. So it's a bolster, this rectangular bolster from Hugger Mugger. Actually I just have one blanket here. I gotta add another blanket. So 2 Mexican blankets, 2 yoga blocks. These are foam blocks, not the cork, and then a D-ring strap. Okay, so this is sort of the bare minimum, I would say. Now, of course, not every class will use all of these props, but if you want to do all of the classes online in the online library, this will definitely, get you started. So, in regards to the strap, again, I got this one from Hugger Mugger, and it's a D-ring. There are some straps that you can get that have like a buckle, but I don't recommend those. Okay, they're just harder to get in and out of. So this is a D-ring. You can see it's like got this little metal rings, and you just put the end of the strap through the 2 buckles or the 2 metal rings, and then you come back through one of them. Okay, and see that then you can make your loop bigger or smaller depending on what it is that we're doing, right? Okay, so that's the strap. The foam block, they come in different colors, but you definitely want the foam block, and for all kinds of reasons. Bolster, here is a bolster, okay? And this can be used for this could be your new best friend. One of the main reasons we use it is for sitting, so sitting some kind of cross-legged position. And let's see what else. Oh, and then the Mexican blankets. So what we like about the Mexican blankets is that they're pretty firm, they're not the fuzzy soft blankets that you would get from your couch. Okay, so you can use these for, again, all different kinds of things. Now, if you're at a yoga studio, they'll usually be folded like this. It's called a 3-fold, but this is how you get it there. So if I were to take the blanket, freshly washed, you just fold that in half. Okay. Shout out to one of my longtime students, Jack. I think he was a student for 25 years, and he still had trouble folding his blanket. Very successful businessman, but couldn't fold a blanket. So here we have this in half, and then now I'm just gonna fold that in half again. Okay. And then we'll just do the 3-fold. So I'm gonna bring the fringe inside first, and then there we go, voila. We have a 3-fold blanket. Okay, and then, depending on what you're using it for, you can fold it a variety of different ways. So you might be asking, well, why do we need all these props? And again, you don't need them necessarily for every class, but I could actually write a dissertation about all the reasons for using props. But I'm just going to keep it really short and to say, number 1 reason is support. Okay, so when we're in postures and then we use the props to support us, the body feels safe, and then it can relax and let go. Okay, so that's probably the number 1 reason is support. Another reason would be awareness. So you can use the props to create different awarenesses of the poses. So you can completely change a pose by the prop that you're using. And then the 3rd reason would be something called closed chain. So if I've got a block here between my palms and I take this up. So I'm closing the chain here at the shoulders, okay, and creating some stability, you know, allowing some muscles to turn on to do that. Another example might be, this is a really common one, is the leg stretch series. So say I've got one foot on the wall coming down for this leg stretch. So the foot that's on the wall, I am closing the chain at that hip, okay? And then that's why it feels so good, because you can just feel that stability when the foot's into the wall. And then now I'm gonna close the chain of the hip on the other side, okay? I'm just gonna make this so that I can have my arms straight. And then, you know, there's a little bit of a push down, right? And so now I'm closing the chain of the top hip, okay? So I'm using the strap to close this chain. I'm using the wall to close this hip, okay? So again, just a really valuable way of getting rid of tension in the body, creating more ease in the body and the mind. So that's my little tutorial on props, and yeah, I think it's a definitely worthwhile investment. Now you can be creative and use household items, you know, like cushions off your couch instead of the bolster. You can use maybe beach towels instead of Mexican blankets. You could maybe use books instead of blocks, a man's tie instead of a yoga strap, right? So, but I'm just suggesting that at some point you consider investing, maybe even look on eBay. I know I've seen some yoga bolsters on eBay for significantly cheaper. Okay, namaste.